Medical mysteries. Despite all scientific advancements, there are human conditions that completely defy modern medicine. What happens when your own body becomes an unsolvable enigma? Get ready to uncover 7 mysterious diseases that leave specialists baffled and patients hopeless. This is the dark side of science that few dare to explore. Did you know millions of people suffer from illnesses that science officially cannot explain? Despite all technology and medical advances, some human conditions completely challenge our scientific understanding. These are ailments invisible to tests, ignored by diagnoses, and capable of destroying lives without leaving a trace. What happens when your own body becomes a puzzle that even top specialists cannot solve? Prepare to dive into the shadowy side of medicine, where answers are rarer than questions. These mysterious conditions turn bodies into silent battlefields, where pain, fatigue, and isolation are the only consistent diet. Patients face years of uncertainty, often labeled as hypochondriacs or exaggerators, while their symptoms worsen. The frustration of being disbelieved by doctors, friends, and even family deepens the suffering, creating a cycle of hopelessness. Each case is a unique enigma, defying protocols and exposing the limits of modern medicine. These are real stories of bodies betraying their owners without mercy. Today, we will explore 7 medical conditions that continue to intrigue scientists and doctors worldwide. From inexplicable pain to bodily reactions that defy logic, what few realize is that behind each bizarre symptom are clues that could revolutionize medicine as we know it. And when you discover how these diseases connect secrets of the brain, the immune system, and even the environment, you may never see your body the same way again. The first mystery begins now. What if the exhaustion you feel at the end of a busy day became your permanent reality? Chronic fatigue syndrome isn't just being tired, it's a deep fatigue that does not improve with rest, where even the simplest tasks become insurmountable mountains. Imagine waking up already defeated with a permanently drained battery, while your body screams for relief that never comes. Studies show that 25% of patients are bedridden or homebound, turning lives into prisons of exhaustion. How can something so invisible be so devastating? The symptoms go beyond fatigue. Intolerance to physical or mental effort can leave a patient bedridden for days. After minimal tasks, like taking a shower, cognitive problems dubbed brain fog erase memories and cloud thoughts as if the brain was submerged in mud. Muscle and joint pain complete this silent torture. The stigma is cruel. Many are wrongly called lazy or hypochondriacs, suffering doubly from both the condition and prejudice. Scientists suspect links to viral infections like Epstein-Barr and immune dysfunctions, but the causes remain a mystery. CRPS exposes the fragility of our understanding of energy and vitality, showing how the body can fail without warning. But what if the very environment, the air we breathe, the products we use, becomes the enemy? That is exactly what happens in the next mysterious condition. For millions of people, the modern world is an invisible minefield. Multiple chemical sensitivity transforms everyday chemicals, perfumes, detergents, even air conditioning into torture triggers. Imagine being unable to enter a shopping mall, use a soap, or breathe near someone wearing perfume without experiencing piercing headaches, nausea, or respiratory collapse. Studies suggest up to 15% of the population has some chemical sensitivity, but extreme MCs affects about 3.5%, turning lives into domestic prisons. How can something so normal become toxic? The symptoms are multifaceted: terror, paralyzing fatigue, brain fog that erases thought, muscle aches, and asthma attacks triggered by imperceptible chemical traces. The horror: while patients agonize in sterilized rooms, many doctors still question whether MCs exists. Some attribute it all to anxiety, ignoring research pointing to immune alterations or hyperreactive neurological pathways. It's a silent fight against scientific prejudice, where each normal test is a blow to hope. Science is divided, but the suffering is universal. This condition exposes a frightening paradox. The more chemicals we create to simplify life, the more bodies rebel against them. But the mysteries don't end there. Imagine eating a meal and feeling as if it remains trapped in your stomach for days, causing nausea, vomiting, and intense pain. This is the brutal reality of gastroparesis, a condition where the stomach loses its ability to empty. It is not just ordinary indigestion. It is digestive paralysis that turns every meal into torture. Food stagnates, ferments, and generates ongoing suffering. How do you live when the basic act of eating becomes a source of constant panic? While diabetes is a major cause, damaging the vagus nerve that controls the stomach. In many cases, doctors cannot identify what is paralyzing the patient's stomach. It is a frustrating medical mystery with hidden causes. Many patients struggle with malnutrition and involuntary weight loss, turning every meal into anxiety. Chronic dehydration and vitamin deficiencies are devastating consequences. The body weakens while food, the source of life, becomes the enemy. Current treatments, restricted diets, prokinetic medications, and even gastric electrical stimulation offer limited relief and are not effective for everyone. Patients often endure a trial and error journey, with persistent symptoms despite efforts. Did you know that 1 in 10 people worldwide suffers from an invisible condition that turns digestion into a daily battlefield? Irritable bowel syndrome is not just a nervous stomach, it is a silent storm causing abdominal pain, extreme bloating, and drastic changes in bowel habits. Imagine planning your life around bathroom locations or avoiding basic foods for fear of flare-ups. This reality affects millions, yet is rarely discussed openly. How can such a common condition be so misunderstood? IBS challenges medicine. No definitive cause, no diagnostic test, and no cure. Researchers point to a perfect storm of visceral hypersensitivity, gut microbiota imbalance, and brain-gut communication dysfunction. Stress does not cause IBS but amplifies symptoms like a megaphone. Patients report harmless foods, onion, wheat trigger, debilitating the cruelest part. Normal outward appearances conceal constant internal suffering, leading to social isolation and anticipatory anxiety. Current treatments focus only on symptoms, restrictive diets like low FODMAP and low-dose antidepressants to modulate nerve sensitivity. None offer universal relief, leaving patients in an exhausting search for control. Did you know your greatest protector can become your worst enemy? Over 80 autoimmune diseases affect millions globally, turning the immune system or shield against invaders into a relentless traitor. Imagine sentinels mistaking healthy cells for threats, triggering a destructive internal war. This is how autoimmune conditions operate. The body, programmed to defend, attacks its own tissues and organs. This biological betrayal is the core of autoimmune disorders. A frightening paradox where defense becomes self-destruction. Examples illustrate this diversity. In lupus, multiple systems, skin, kidneys, joints are targeted, causing widespread inflammation and extreme fatigue. Rheumatoid arthritis attacks the joints, eroding cartilage and bone with progressive pain and deformity. Multiple sclerosis assaults nerve disrupting brain signals and causing weakness, vision problems, and balance issues. Diagnosis is a monumental challenge. Vague, fluctuating symptoms, absence of a single definitive test, and treatments that often suppress the entire immune system, leaving patients vulnerable to infections. Triggers are complex. Genetic predisposition plus environmental triggers such as viral infections, chronic stress, toxin exposure, or microbiota alterations. Hormonal factors also explain why women are more affected. Despite advances, precise origins remain mysterious, making a cure a distant goal. Can you imagine pain so overwhelming that the mere touch of clothing or a breeze becomes torture? This is the reality for those living with complex regional pain syndrome, a condition where the nervous system collapses after an injury. What should be a defense mechanism transforms into a continuous nightmare. The pain persists, intensifies, and spreads far beyond the original damage. The body seems to create a neurological trap, turning harmless stimuli into unbearable threats, a true prison of sensations where the environment itself becomes the enemy. CRPS usually follows minor traumas, a sprain, fracture, or surgery, but the pain is grotesquely disproportionate, as if the body's alarm system is permanently on maximum. Visible symptoms are alarming. Skin changes color, pale, purple, or red. Temperature fluctuates from hot to cold, and swelling is common. Extreme sensitivity, allodynia, turns any touch into hell. Exact causes remain obscure, but theories point to sympathetic nervous dysfunction, abnormal inflammatory responses, and genetic factors. Diagnosis is difficult. No specific tests exist, and symptoms overlap with other conditions. Treatment is equally complex. Medications, physical therapy, and nerve blocks provide variable relief, but there is no definitive cure. A multidisciplinary approach is essential but often insufficient to contain chronic pain and its devastating impact on quality of life. Patients face not only physical suffering, but also medical disbelief and social isolation. Did you know that every 60 seconds, medical science produces over 2,000 new research articles? Amid this overwhelming knowledge, each of these conditions represents not only a medical challenge, but also an opportunity to expand the boundaries of human understanding. From the immune system turning against itself to pain becoming a disease, each clinical mystery is an invitation to innovation. Ongoing research is our only hope to turn suffering into understanding, and understanding into a cure. Through this scientific commitment, we uncover the deepest secrets of human biology. Artificial intelligence and machine learning are revolutionizing medical research, helping identify patterns that could lead to breakthrough discoveries. Sophisticated algorithms now analyze millions of genetic, clinical, and environmental data points in minutes, detecting correlations that would take decades with traditional methods. This technological revolution paves the way for personalized medicine, where treatments are tailored not only to the disease, but also to each patient's unique genetic profile. Imagine therapies designed specifically for your biological makeup, considering genetic predispositions, life history, and even your personal microbiome. This individualized approach promises to radically transform the treatment of complex conditions like the ones we explored. However, for this medical revolution to reach its full potential, we must overcome a historic obstacle: the need for more inclusive studies that consider different populations and patient experiences. For decades, medical research focused on limited demographic groups, leaving dangerous gaps in understanding how diseases affect various ethnic, gender, and socioeconomic groups. The science of the future must be more representative, collaborative, and patient-centered. Despite challenges, we live in an unprecedented era of medical discovery, where each day brings solutions once thought impossible. Amid so much progress, one question arises: how are these innovations changing not just treatment, but the very way we perceive health and disease? Over 50 million people in the US alone live with autoimmune diseases or complex chronic pain, many without precise diagnoses. Conditions from lupus to CRPS represent the most challenging frontiers of modern medicine, where the body becomes a living enigma. Every unexplained symptom, every unpredictable therapeutic response, is a stark reminder that science, despite its advances, still struggles with fundamental mechanisms of life. These mysteries force us to question what we really know about health and disease. The more we learn about the human body, the more we realize how much remains to be discovered. Every cell, chemical signal, and immune response reveals layers of complexity that challenge our understanding. In this landscape of uncertainty, it is vital to acknowledge: if you live with one of these conditions, your experience is real and valid, even if science does not yet have all the answers. Your struggle is not imaginary, and your pain is not exaggerated. Empowerment begins when medicine listens to patients as active partners, turning personal accounts into crucial data for future research. Medical history teaches us that today's insurmountable mysteries may become tomorrow's breakthroughs. Every advance, whether in genomics, immunotherapy, or neuroscience, brings us closer to unraveling these enigmas. Yet while we await these answers, human resilience remains our most powerful force. Amid so much to discover, one question echoes as a challenge to the next generation of scientists: what will be the next great medical mystery that science finally solves, and how many lives could be transformed by that discovery? The future of health depends on the courage to ask,